Okay, so here we are. I've upgraded my Losi 5T, and somebody told me like I need to do a detailed, um, kind of like a process on how or which part I've upgraded. So we're gonna be starting from the front. I've upgraded the shocks to the orange colored one. I believe that's about a 14.2 pound rate, and I've upgraded the top brace to the DDM Racing aluminum top brace. One point of contention though, like the screws here and here have the blue thread locks on them. So you better be careful not to strip the screw head, because this is what I had to do. I got lucky enough to take out one of the screw, which would be on the top right corner on the screen right now. And I had to Dremel out the left one, because apparently when they put that in, they put too much thread lock on it. So no matter how I tried, slowly, carefully, it just stripped completely. It almost took me 2 hours trying to take it off, trying not to strip the screw head. Eventually it stripped, so I had to Dremel it out. And it used a vice grip to take the screw out. But yeah, so you got to be careful. I believe this one, see, this one and this one have thread locks on them. The other one, I didn't have a great deal of problem taking out, so it wasn't that big a deal. But overall, whenever you're trying to take out a screw, be careful, because when the head strips, it is a pain. Next one, upgraded to, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me take this out. Well, the outerwear for the air filter. Got this from DDM Racing as well. R2C Competition Filter Series. And you have to buy it with a velocity stack, which you cannot see, but it's that silver part that's in between that connects to the carburetor, to your air filter. Now you need to have some little bit of space when you install it, because if you push it in all the way through, your choke lever might catch the rubber part of the filter, and so much vibration happening, eventually this thing might fall off. So leave some space, a little bit of space, to maneuver the choke lever freely. All right, and then of course the rear shocks, I upgraded to the orange. I think it's 10.2 pound rate. And of course my Predator, Uber RC Predator version 2.5, I believe now. Everything I got version 2. Sorry. I thought I ordered the version 2.5 because they said that the version 2 had when you kind of like roll over on your top, dirt might come in or might get stuck in here, so your engine of course is going to stall. But I've tried it with the body on, and it is not sticking out of the roll cage. It is perfectly right on par with the roll cage. But what I'm planning on doing is putting in like a heat sink on the roll cage, because this is probably going to be really hot. It's about I would say like about a centimeter away from the roll cage, so you might melt out the roll cage when you're like running it and the exhaust gets really hot. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the exhaust. I don't have any running videos yet. I'm gonna run it simultaneously with a Mini Cooper WRC, and we're gonna find out how they sound compare. I mean, it's the same engine, so we're gonna find out and see how the stock exhaust sound like in the Uber Predator RC. So when I was installing this one, there's gonna be a rubber gasket that goes in here. At first it might seem that the rubber is too big of a diameter or a circumference, but when it has like kind of like a gap that you put in, and once you stick it in there, it'll be perfect. Now once you stick it in there, it is going to be really hard to push this part in. So what I recommend is you put some sort of like after run oil for nitro engines, or any type of oil, maybe cooking oil, on that rubber part. So this would, I mean, even with oil, this thing is gonna be so hard to push in. But luckily I was able to push it in. So what I did to install it properly is I actually assembled the exhaust itself without installing it to the engine, and then made adjustment on the length of this one. Excuse me, because the length of how far you're going to extend these two together sorry, has to be perfectly aligned to the bracket that's going to go right there. So like, you know, put the screws in, these two screws in, but don't tighten them, or you can, but you just adjust this one either going this way, this one going this way, or a little bit outwards or inwards, based on how long for this bracket to match. Now one thing though is, like, when you remove the screw, the original screw is gonna come in, it's gonna come out. A long screw is gonna come out. The screw that they've given you to put this in is about half the size. It's probably about this big. So it's not gonna be enough to actually put this bracket in. So what I would recommend is use the screw that comes out of your engine from your stock exhaust, and use one of them to put this screw all the way through up to here. But overall, this exhaust looks awesome. I love the look, I love the finish, and I'm gonna do a plug. I got it from DDM Racing. So overall it looks pretty tight. And if you can see here, there's enough for the oh, can't move it, it's not on the platform, but move it backward. Even with a like, you know, when you bounce around, your dog bone is not gonna hit this exhaust. But the quality is really good. I don't know if I should put like a red Loctite thread lock on this one. When I took out the factory exhaust, it didn't have it, but when I screwed it in, it was pretty tight. I could barely move it in. But that's pretty much it. I love this. I love the look of this exhaust, and I've seen YouTube videos of it, and I've heard the sound that people put in. It sounds sick. A little bit high pitch, so I might have problems with my neighbors again running. I used to run nitro all the time in the yard. Some people say it's too loud, but overall, you know, it's probably not going to be as high pitched compared to a nitro. But yeah, so that's my build so far. Everything I got from DDM Racing. Go check them out. They've got pretty good prices. Although the one thing that I do not recommend buying, not because of them, not because of DDM Racing, but because of the manufacturer. So they have a shock guard that goes in here to cover up the shock, to protect the shock and the axles. But when you buy them, the holes do not mount properly. They're about, I would say, half 5 millimeters away, or maybe even less, but it does not line up properly. And even if you try to drill one, it is definitely going to create a weakness, because you're going to have to drill it somewhere over here or somewhere over there just to match up the holes, which basically is going to hit your sway bar. So I wouldn't recommend it. I would probably just not even run it with. But yeah, I would not get that, not because of DDM, but from the manufacturer. And I had a bad luck about the like, you know, when you put the body in, they have like a kind of like a plastic cover in the back. I had bad luck. I ordered one from DDM. I don't know if they noticed it or not, but the plastic had mold in it and looked like it's been in the warehouse for so many years that it's not even clear. It was literally like grayish colored plastic. So I'm gonna send that back and order a new one. But yeah, here's my build. Upgraded the shocks to a little bit heavier rate. Top brace, and the next thing I'm going to do would be to get aluminum chassis brace, front and rear. Right there. My air filter. I love the look of this air filter, and it's fairly easy to clean. Apparently, it doesn't have any oil, so if it gets dirty, all you need to do is like blow it, take it off, and blow it from the inside, and all the dust would come out. And I've got a couple of these on stock already, just in case the life of the filter is pretty much done. But the next thing I'm going to be getting would be a kill switch. I'm really scared to run this. Right now I run it in my backyard. I have a fence, so it's really no big deal if I have a runaway. It's just going to hit the fence. But once I get in the open field, I would definitely need a kill switch. And rear shocks. But the best part is this gorgeous, gorgeous Uber RC Predator version. According to the website, 2.5, but I'm looking at version 2. But when I put the body in, it does not stick out, which a lot of people said version 2 had a problem with it. And just lining it all up, fairly easy to install. 1, 2, 3 screws. 1, 2, and the third one right here, one of the screws that came out from your factory exhaust. Alright guys, thank you for the person that suggested me to do a more detailed build instead of just like kind of like blowing it off. I appreciate the advice. And my Losi 5T is, well, it is already a good looking truck. I think it's one of the best looking trucks that I've seen, but it's looking much, much better. All right, thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time. All right, so I mentioned earlier, there's just going to be an add-on for those of you guys who want to see how the back part looks like. So it goes like this in a roll cage. But as you can see, this is not open yet. But look at all that. Looks like mold. I'm going to assume it's mold. And I don't, like, you know, nobody wants to put this on their brand new toy. So I'm going to send it back. But this is just a follow-up for those of you guys who want to see what I'm talking about. But there.